Hey everybody, thanks again for joining us this week at KonKon's Cantina. This week we get to talk about Project Luminous, the new High Republic era that is coming out to us this year via written media at Star Wars and Disney. So far we have some pretty basic info as far as titles of the books and the comics and even some information about the writers, but super excited. You can check out more information as the pictures are posted on Instagram and on Facebook. Spoiler warning for Season 7 of Clone Wars on Disney+. This week we also talk about Episodes 2 and Episodes 3. If you enjoy this podcast, please remember to leave us a 5-star review. It really helps us with the podcast. Also, you can join the conversation, facebook.com/KonKon's Cantina. We also have a Facebook group that's always got stuff going on. You can also visit us at YouTube and Instagram. If you would like to work with us and this podcast, feel free to email us at konkonscantina@gmail.com. And without further ado, guys, let's get into it.
Welcome to KonKon's Cantina. Grab a drink, sit back, and relax.
Connor, you know that Trekkies are people too. You can't just say things like that. That's racist.
What a... You got it.
We back.
What is up, everybody? I
That
don't
is
know.
not
We
mine.
got...
I just put mine on airplane.
Maybe it's mine. I don't got it.
Justin's
You got
intro
it.
was just ruined.
No, it's
Ruined!
No, it's all right. It's all right. We in there. Listen, guys. It is your boy. It's KonKon. And as Justin would say,
We back.
there it is. Back at it again. Last week, we graced you with, talking about what it is we spend our money on, why our wives loathe us. And this week, we are here again. We are going to be talking about episodes 2 and 3 of season 7 of the Clone Wars. But
What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Thumbs up, thumbs down, quick initial reaction.
Yeah, because apparently we're going to put something on Facebook to. I don't know.
Yep, we'll do that.
You got it.
You got it.
You got it. Listen, I'm your boy. It's KonKon, and we have a returning guest this week, sitting to my left.
The casual kid, a.k.a. Jordan.
Jordan is with us again to talk about some Star Wars, and of course, the man sitting to my right, the man of 1,000 names.
You can find me on Galaxy of Heroes. My ally code is 328-759-161. Add me.
Cannot wait for you to hit level 50 so I can add you to my clan. I will bring you under my Jar Jar Beer ears.
Jar Jar
Giant
Beers?
Yeah, Jar Jar
That's
Beers.
a good name. Jar Jar Beers.
Hey, listen, find me on, Galaxy of Heroes, Jar Jar Beers. But can't wait to add you to my clan, give you some of my tunes so you can wreck some stuff. Guys, listen. We are a Cantina podcast.
Yes.
So we're going to go into the Cantina right now.
Welcome to KonKon's Cantina. What are you having? But remember, no droids.
This week, I am drinking something. I cannot wait to put this up on the podcast, okay? I've drank some D9 stuff before, and this week I am drinking D9 Brewer's Day Off. Now, one of the things that I like most about this can is the art. It's like a guy that had a spa day. He's got the cucumber eyes going with the face mask. He's got his towel around his head. And then he's got, the 2 beers he's holding up. This is a cucumber melon goes. And it's really, really good.
Is it goes or goes?
Listen,
goes?
it's whatever. It goes down my throat. So,
I'm assuming this is another Tavor snag.
No, I got this from ABC. It was
nice.
it was on sale. They had a bunch of D9 stuff that was on sale. There, I'd say I like 5 out of 6 D9s. I would definitely buy them again. This one is something that I think is really setting them apart. It pours or it pours hazy, not super hazy, but it's like a golden. It's like a golden color.
Mm-hmm.
It gets a pretty decent head even with a slow pour, but it dissipates fast, and it
looks
probably
delicious.
Yeah, it's probably because it's so thin. When you smell it, you can definitely smell the cucumber and the melon. The taste is pretty balanced. It's not like sometimes cucumber like over.
I hate cucumber with the passion.
Overly cucumbers.
Yeah, sometimes cucumber will just take over stuff, but yeah, it definitely doesn't, which is really nice. Like the middle of it, you can definitely tell that it's like, you know, kind of like that sour, like that goes feeling, you know, just you definitely know
similar
that's
to
what
a
you're
sour,
drinking.
but not quite all the way there.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's 4.8%. I wish it would be a little bit higher, but that would probably really change the flavor profile. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I understand why it were
D9. I am starting to really like them. I'm going to start looking for them more often because I think between you and I both, we've had like live, I think we've had 2 or 3 of their beers that have all been above average to above average for each one of them.
Yeah, like I said, the only one that I haven't liked was that tropical Hakuna Matata.
Oh yeah, no, that is the one that I gave. I think I gave that a 5.
Yeah, that was
the description sounded like it was spot on for everything I like, but
Yeah.
that hazy IPA just didn't click.
Yeah, it just didn't get there, but it's just enough tart, and because of like the fruit balance, it's super refreshing. So like after I'd mow the grass, like I could totally kill this thing, and it would be really
Not
really
heavy.
good. Yeah. Jordan, what are you drinking?
I'm actually drinking from High West Distillery. I'm drinking the Campfire. And,
Delicious.
oh, I know. 92 proof. It is actually blended from 2 different ryes, a straight bourbon whiskey, and also a malted Scotch whiskey. And
Give me the peats.
yeah, it is definitely a very peaty whiskey. I would actually recommend it for people who want to get into peaty whiskeys or scotches.
It's a clean peaty like flavor. That's a good introductory.
Right,
I'd agree
it's-
with that 100%.
It's not overpowering. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's very smooth, very clean. I highly recommend it. And out of the High West that I've had, it is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
As somebody who doesn't like the peat, on the nose, it's almost like too peaty, but like the taste, like you said, is really not over the top. I guess it is. It does kind of have like that smoke stuff. I would rather peat than smoke.
Yeah. No,
Peaty
I
smoke.
if I could drink a Campfire, I would. That's how much I love peat.
it's pretty close.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Definitely.
Yeah, Peat Monster is a little much, but
Yeah.
like this is like a good like if you were comparing it, like I compare a peaty Scotch to an IPA or a sour because an IPA or a sour are both flavor profiles that you don't normally like decide you like beer and jump into there.
Right.
It's kind of like I'm gonna drink a lager, I'm gonna drink a Hefeweizen, and it's gonna be something more mild, and then you kind of get bored of that flavor and you move up into a IPA or a sour. To me, a peaty Scotch is kind of the same thing. If you get bored of a standard whiskey or a nice Islay Scotch, you'll move into maybe a rye or maybe a peaty flavor because you're looking for more, I guess, extreme flavors, but you can still pick out like uniqueness in each one of them.
Yeah.
And I think that High West Campfire is an excellent segue into starting moving into that stuff.
I think that's might be one of the reasons why I'm just not a huge fan of peat yet, or maybe if ever, is because I feel like it just dominates everything taste wise for me. Like if I knew that I was just going to be drinking something peaty like for the whole night, I think that would help temper my expectations of like, I'm always drinking something else. And then somebody's like, oh my gosh, you have to try this.
Right.
And then I try it and I'm like, wow, I cannot get this taste of mineral spirits out of
Yeah.
my mouth.
Doesn't taste like mineral spirits. It is a prominent flavor. It will like overpower your taste buds.
Yeah.
I will agree with that. But Lagavulin is, I've said this before on the show, it's my all-time favorite Scotch. Like, I get chills when I drink it, when I crack a bottle of that open. Like,
I
that's-
go and I buy a steak and then I get a Lagavulin. Is that what happens?
Yes, it's a Ron Swanson.
Oh, okay.
Good job, Ron.
Yeah, thank you. What are you drinking?
I am drinking something that funny
That Matt
story.
drank all of?
No. He brought this to my house. The camping comedian Matt Urton brought this to my house, and this was going to be his bottle.
Mm-hmm.
I promised I wouldn't drink it, and I have not. There is now exactly. I dumped the rest of it into my glass. There is 1 pinky finger worth into a rocks glass. This is a Clyde Mays straight bourbon whiskey, 92 proof. I do not know what I'm going to taste. I'm going to live taste this right now. I have not tried a sip of it, and I'm stealing the end of his bottle. Try to get me. I'm going to take it, Matt.
The suspense.
While you're taking a sip of that, my brewer's day off, I would give it a solid 6 out of 10 Mandos. Now, I really do like it. I think it could have a higher score for other people. The only reason why I'm giving it a 6 out of 10 is because I have never been able to find it again. And I've looked for it.
Really?
Yeah, and like that really does affect my score. It's like, okay, hang on. Now, the point of the scoring system is how many Mandos would like it. Probably more than 6 out of 10. But if the Mandos are only coming out of the covert, freaking one at a time, they're not going to be able to find us. We're narrowing our chances, okay? So it's hard to find. 6 out of 10 Mandos. Super good. Highly recommend it if you can find it. Super good.
Absolutely. For the campfire, I'm definitely going to end up giving it a 7. 7 Mandos would definitely.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
They're already around a campfire. If they don't have one, they definitely can go get campfire whiskey.
I figure a Mando would be like the covert cuddled around a campfire.
Absolutely. That's the taste is the
all
smell
cuddled up
of
in
their
the campfire,
covert
being
around a
warm with
campfire.
some blankies.
Absolutely.
I'm all for it.
So this Clyde Maze, I've had 2 sips. It is very smooth. It's a 92 proof, so it's gonna be on the smoother side.
Yeah.
I'm tasting a lot of.
I love how we think 92 is smooth.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Some people would be like, what?
It's got like I'm picking up like some caramel, some sugar cane kind of a profile on the taste. It's a good sipper. I wouldn't rate this super high. I didn't buy it, so I also might bump it up because I didn't buy it.
Do you know what the price point is?
I do not, because this is a small bottle too. It's like a I don't know what size this is.
I bet
This
you
is-
anything that's in the third
It's got really pretty bottle art on it. Though.
is the bottle like special? Like, is it a barrel proof?
No, it's just a standard.
That's what they use to sterilize things with. That's the size of that bottle.
It's a super small bottle.
It is a small bottle.
It's like
I don't think I'd want to pay, and we'll post
I would
a
guess
picture of it.
I would call it a 325. If a 750 is kind of like a standard bottle, this is probably a 325.
It's a 375 mil.
375. Maybe I'm bad at math. I don't know.
Yeah, that's
are
what it says.
bad.
I
on it.
am bad at math. Oh
It
yeah,
does seem
325
really
is
small, though.
not half of that. So it's half of a regular bottle. Excuse my bad math.
Yeah.
But
no, I do like the bottle art though. It is pretty
it's
cool.
really cool, like kind of like a sepiaed black and white, kind of like a old 1920s art on it, which is cool. Very easy drinking. I would sip on this. I would give this to somebody who came over that you didn't know if they liked bourbon and they wanted to try something.
I still think
that'd
it
be-
depends on the price point. I really wish we knew the price point.
Yeah, it was free for me, so like have at it.
Yeah. That's
Thanks.
just something that
Thanks,
affects,
Matt.
price or Mando score for me too.
Yeah, I would give that. I would sit that at a 5.
5.
There's nothing unique about it. I don't know what the dollar amount is to include that, but it's good. It's not bad, but there's nothing like
Yeah.
extravagant in one direction to like push it in another way. I'd give it a straight down the middle of the road, a 5.
The agenda for this episode, you already know. Okay, we have a guest. So Jordan was on our video games episode, our classic retro games episode, and in that
Highly
episode,
listened to episode.
yes, thank you. We will be doing another video games episode. We're actually going to be doing a VR episode, and we are going to be doing a strictly Star Wars video games episode.
And a fighting game episode.
Yeah, and the fighting game episode. Yeah, we are. And Jordan was not able to give his Star Wars saga during that that retro game episode. So Jordan will be giving us his Star Wars saga. Our special segment, we will be talking about Project Luminous, the High Republic, the newest Star Wars story announcement.
So excited for this.
Cannot wait. Okay,
Intense.
dude, super hype about it. And then, as I stated before, we'll be talking about episodes 2 and 3 of Clone Wars. We will be having some news, some new movies are coming out, even some new video games are coming out, and of course, Jordan, you will be having egg on your face.
Yes, I will.
It is
Yes,
the
I will.
Sukah time because you will be telling us the embarrassing story. Sukah, Sukah.
You guys are weird.
And we are so excited to hear your embarrassing story. We got a little bit of a preview, and I can't wait.
Is that even the same story? You don't even know yet.
I don't know. Pick your story.
Yeah, we did pick the story, didn't we? Like, he told us that one story, and we were like, oh my god, you have to tell that one.
We'll see what he picks.
Okay, yeah. He does. Yeah, he does
had
have
a
the
couple
choice.
Amazing options. He's lived a embarrassing life.
Shut up.
Jordan, why don't you tell us about your Star Wars saga?
So Star Wars is something that has always been in my life. I feel like a lot of people say that, but I can honestly tell you, I can't remember when I was introduced to Star Wars.
That's a good thing to not remember.
Yeah, I grew up in a family of nerds, and Star Wars was just always a part of it. I remember my cousins talking to me about Star Wars and my family being involved in it, and I just couldn't remember. I think the first time I remember watching Star Wars, I was watching A New Hope, and it was the Cantina scene when they were in Mos Eisley. And
They totally stole that from us.
really?
No.
Dang it. But it was that scene where Luke is getting pushed around by the two gentlemen there who do not like him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember my mom covering my eyes while Obi-Wan cut off the guy's arm because it was too graphic.
Yeah.
And I don't remember seeing that scene until I was a teenager.
I got a question for you.
What?
Can you remember what the first format that you watched it? Were you watching it on like a
It was
cable
VHS.
or okay, it was VHS?
Absolutely. It was
Good.
I think it might have even been a VHS copy of a recorded TV program.
Oh yeah, that's it.
90% of what I watched as a kid was
Four
stuff that
other
was
movies
recorded.
on the same tape.
Absolutely. But from there for Star Wars, I didn't really get a lot of EU stuff. I didn't get to see anything extra. The thing that I mainly got was when Walmart was holding the Hasbro toy line.
Yes,
my mom
the Star
made
Wars
me and
toy
my-
aisle was insanely big.
It's gigantic. And I remember my mom taking me and my brother to Walmart, and when she would go shopping, she would say, I'm going to buy one action figure for you two boys as long as you two, act appropriately. And me and my brother, over the course of several years, amassed a gigantic collection.
Which you still have.
I still have.
a solid amount of.
Yeah, I still have a full collection. Also includes the action figure, the blasters. Everything is in there.
All the accessories.
After we're done doing this, I'm getting my stuff out of the attic because I still have all my toys.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I sold all my stuff as a kid. Like I would in my brain phase out of something, so we'd have a yard sale. I'm like, I'm gonna make $20, and I was pricing 1970s original 3.75s for 50 cents a piece.
Yeah, no, idiot. In my family, we didn't sell anything. We bought something and we kept it for the longest time. I
wish I
still
would've
somewhere
had that.
have my original Super Nintendo. Somewhere, my brother might have it or something. But
I got two of them right behind you.
oh snap, that's pretty awesome. But with the Star Wars action figures, no, I couldn't get rid of those. Actually, my brother held on to the cases that we opened up because we played with them. We were kids.
Oh, yeah.
But my brother tried to hold on to the casing for as long as he could.
Oh, he
because
tried to keep
knew-
the card in the plastic and try
Yeah.
to repackage them.
Yeah, he had the forethought to think of, I'm going to repackage this because these are going to be worth something someday, and they kind of are. But yeah, that's mainly my Star Wars story. Is just I didn't get a lot of the extra extended universe things. It was really about collecting the action figures.
What about
and
the games? Did you get to play many of the games in the Nintendo 64 era, when there was some really great ones?
I got to play Shadow of the Empire a lot. I didn't own
Katarn.
it. I didn't get to actually play it. No. I will take this back. The game that we owned that I played constantly was Dark Forces. Star Wars Dark Forces for PC. It was a Doom clone, but it happened. It's still one of my favorite Star Wars games because
I think Kyle Katarn was in Dark Forces.
Yes,
as
he
well.
was.
I
Yes,
really
his
like
first game.
Rogue Squadron too.
Yeah, I
On
love
the
space combat games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was really good.
So
Was the prequels a big deal for you?
they were, but as I was aging into my teenage years, I saw all the flaws in them, and it's kind of actually where I fell off with Star Wars because the things I loved about Star Wars was I'm not a sci-fi guy necessarily. I prefer fantasy, and
Star Wars is totally fantasy more than sci-fi. Just saying.
Right. It has a lot of good fantasy
Yeah.
aspects, but the things in Star Wars I don't care about is I've never really cared about the planets and the civilizations that lived on them and that aspect of it. It was more about the Force and the idea that there's bounty hunters in a galaxy and those kind of things and the story of the characters. So
What brought you back then?
what brought me back is honestly it's the new movies and the characters that are in them, and a lot of the new media has a ton of really great story going into it.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah, and that's the stuff that brings me back. I don't care about details always. I really do care about the characters, their interactions with one another, and how you get to see the humanity in everybody
Yeah.
in this world that is beyond reality.
And I think that's something that the newer stuff has done a great job of, is showing the humanity with books like The Lost Stars, with books and games with Inferno Squad, seeing things from the Empire, how everybody on the Empire wasn't a bad guy. They legitimately thought they were like...
Some of them were literally there for a job.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
they got paid.
They
like,
tried to go to... They wanted to go to school to learn something. Or they thought that they were keeping peace in a lawless galaxy.
Yeah.
Like, I think they never really did a great job of that in EU and Legends. Like, that is like an awesome thing that I'm enjoying in this new stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we get kind of that first introduction more of like Star Wars casual fans like Finn. You
Yeah.
know, that's kind of like the first introduction.
First quote, traitor.
Yeah, but like you were saying, you know, with like the book Lost Stars, we've talked about that numerous times on the podcast. That was where, you know, we see somebody that understood that the ideals of the Empire, you know, they just went there to get off their planet, just like Luke wanted to.
They wanted to be a pilot.
They wanted to be a pilot. They wanted to get off their backwater planet, and you know, they just saw through, you know, what the agenda of the Empire was, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of new Star Wars content,
Dude.
oh my. So much on the horizon. Like,
I'm like literally almost speechless right now, but
Yeah.
Dude, High Republic, and we talked about this a little bit.
Project Luminous, as it was known for a few years in the past before we knew what it was going to entail.
Yeah. And we had heard rumors, like, you know, like this was going to be Rian Johnson's trilogy and all this stuff, that he was going to go to what was considered the Old Republic. I do think that they are still playing it, not playing it safe. That's not the right word. I think they are purposefully not going to the Old Republic because there are already standards set there. And
Yeah.
I think that they are choosing a new timeline. And
I think they know there's things that are beloved that they don't want to touch. And
I think they'll touch it eventually.
maybe, but
I think that they will use... Well, let's just get into what this is quickly. And what this is quickly is this is set 200 years before The Phantom Menace.
mm-hmm.
So this is 200 years before the 1999 release, where the Skywalker story actually started.
right.
And this
Yoda's
is not...
still alive.
Yeah, very much alive.
Yoda's in his he's like equivalent of like a 50-year-old cargo shorts and high socks Corvette owner.
If
Midlife
he-
crisis.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. So he dies at 900 years old.
So he's like 700,
650?
650, 700.
Something like that. Yeah. I mean, he's definitely like a
So
BA Jedi
The
at this
child
point,
is
for sure.
50, and the child is
Not
literally
born yet.
I'm saying like the child.
Oh,
is-
yeah, the child
at
is 50.
He's like a toddler.
Yeah.
So at 650, he's got to be like in his like 50s or 60s, right?
He still have some normal colored hair. Absolutely. Not just grays.
That's what I think.
So why don't you tell us, Justin, some of the details of Project Luminous? Like who are the people that are working on this? And it's to be released later this year, right?
Yeah, it's gonna come out in August, I believe. But it's five writers, 5 stories, 5 different platforms, which is really cool. So each writer is going to kind of take their own little thing under their wing, and they're gonna write it, and they're gonna create their exact form of media.
I wonder if they have like a panel that they have to go based on.
Well, that's what's cool is they all met on the Skywalker Ranch.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they jointly
They start at A, they have to get to Z, but they all get to pick the letters in between.
right. They came up with their arcs and their main things on this story
Yeah.
together, and now they're all fleshing out their individual roles. That's going to make everything a cohesive. I guess you could call it an era. This High Republic era is going to be a cohesive story between everything.
And
So
we had
it's-
posted the pictures that had been released.
Oh my gosh, their concept art is
It's ridiculous.
absolutely amazing.
Some of the notable things is we see from the Rebel series, we see another Loathwolf.
Oh, another Loathwolf, yes.
Yeah, we see the Loathwolf. We also see what appears to be a Trandoshan bounty hunter, or Jedi that we've never seen before. We are seeing our
Wookiee.
second Wookiee Jedi.
With an amazing sword-inspired lightsaber.
He literally has a non-emitter crossguard lightsaber.
His name is Buryaga Agaburi.
say that 5 times fast.
Yep.
No.
But that is by Charles Soule, who is the author. Like, he tweeted out his actual name.
Yeah.
And apparently his lightsaber is going to have somewhat of a sword in the stone, King Arthur, like something special about this lightsaber.
Oh, wow.
Which is kind of got my interest piqued.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
they're kind of like giving like a whole hint that this whole thing is going to be kind of more fantasy, Arthurian. Like, these are the Knights of the Round Table, and there's going to be like mystical things that they're against, which is kind of a cool concept. I'm looking forward to.
And even more of that fantasy stuff, you know, with the Mandalorian and Rebels, and Clone Wars, we got the introduction to this dark saber, and that's also something that we see something similar to in these
Hidden.
concept photos.
They tucked them both, one far left and one far right. 2 awesome things.
Yeah, we have on the far right, we have what appears to be a black saber, which our first introduction to that was, if I remember correct, was Force Unleashed.
Yeah, you could get the black saber.
Yeah, you could get like a black kyber and have that. And then also, if you go all the way to the left, once again, these pictures are in the Facebook group. They are also on the Instagram. If you go to the far left, there appears to be a Jedi that has
single hilt,
2 blades.
Yeah, twin, like side by side, almost like a tuning fork or something. Like,
Now, do you know where that came from?
I have no idea. No.
So, Plow Koon was
Plo Koon?
actually
Yeah.
supposed to have almost like a Wolverine style fist gauntlet.
Oh, that would be
And on
sweet.
top of it, this is concept art for the prequels. And on top of that fist gauntlet, just like Wolverine, 2 lightsabers, 2 blades were coming out of the top of it, almost like a wrist mounted saber. And
That is awesome.
yeah,
would be
it
awesome.
did not make it, but that was an original. That was like his original style. But lots of different, looking Jedi. We have some Twi'leks in there. We have some Wookiee Jedi, like we've seen our second one. Very like royal looking, very like clean and kind of holy,
Gold.
like very golds, whites. Even the main girl has kind of like that crown, like almost that very high fantasy, elvish kind of stuff.
I think it would be really cool to see the high point of the Republic, to see, what was like you said,
The
like
peak.
a royal
Yeah.
medieval kind
Yeah.
of situation where, things were at their best. Things were made of gold because you had gold.
Literally.
Yeah, exactly. So seeing that in the Star Wars universe would be fantastic.
And then some of these aspects that we're going to be getting these stories that Justin was touching on, one of which is a Marvel comic.
Mm-hmm.
We're also getting an IDW comic. And then what was the other ones?
The IDW, if you guys don't know, that's like your kids. Like, that's like, it's going to be called High Republic Adventures. And that's going to, the tamed down artwork, it's going to be like
I feel like we really need to watch Resistance.
I've tried like 4 times. I keep
I know.
trying. But then we're also going to get 3 novels.
Uh-huh.
Besides, we got these 2 comics, and then we got 3 novels. We got a YA novel, which is going to kind of go along with the IDW, which is going to be that, call it 13-year-old range.
Uh-huh.
A more simplified story, simplified artwork, minimal violence and everything. But then we're going to get a middle grade novel, which is similar to like Lost Stars. And then we're getting our full-on novel, which is going to also be the first piece of High Republic content that we have coming out in August, which is going to be, I'm super hyped about. It's going to actually be written by Charles Soule.
Mm-hmm.
So Charles Soule is the comic writer who has done a ton, like he did the Vader comics.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he's an amazing, like he's done, he's super well known for doing Daredevil. He did Swamp Thing in Marvel, and then he moved into Star Wars, and he's done one other book, but this is his second novel ever, first Star Wars novel, and he is probably my favorite comic book writer for Star Wars. So I'm super hyped to see what he does when he's got like a full novel at his disposal to do whatever he wants and really flesh it out.
And speaking of Charles Soule, the first book that we're actually going to get will be written by him. So it's going to be entitled The High Republic, and then the subtitle of the book is going to be The Light of the Jedi. And then we're going to be getting 2 more novels. So 3 novels in total so far that have been announced. And the other 2 are The High Republic, A Test of Courage, and The High Republic, Into the Dark.
Yeah, Test of Courage is Justina Ireland, and Into the Dark is what's her name? Claudia Gray.
Okay, so those are the authors.
Yeah, those are Charles Soule, Claudia Gray, and Justina Ireland are the 3 authors for the novels themselves.
And then you also touched upon the comic books, and the titles of those 2 have also been released so far. That is Star Wars: The High Republic comic series and the Star Wars: The High Republic Adventures, which you said was more of the kid-friendly kind of.
Yeah, Caven Scott's doing the Marvel stuff, and Daniel Jose Older is doing the Adventures, which is like the more kiddie-based comics, which I'll probably just read Cliff Notes on. I doubt I'm going to read
No
all those.
decapitating in that one.
No.
Yeah, it depends on the medium that we're able to access this. I'm imagining that we should be able to get all this through the Marvel comic app on our phone, and that's a $7.99 a month subscription.
But they give you stuff delayed. That's my problem with that.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't. If you're paying for something, I don't understand why you don't get it immediately, especially on a subscription service. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But
what I'm excited about is this new High Republic is hyper focused on print media, which to me is an awesome thing, because this is also the very first Star Wars content since the merger and the buyout that is ever coming out that is not in support of a movie. This is the first thing that it's its own stories, its own world. It's not a story written to be backing up some type of lore that they talked about in a movie.
Just a quick side note on all that, because there's a lot of Star Wars content that's been coming out in the past couple of years that is borrowing from the EU. You think they're starting to regret not keeping the EU in Star Wars at this point?
I think they're taking it a la carte.
yeah, I mean, listen, it's going to come out eventually. I wouldn't even consider it a spoiler because, like I said, it's already out. It's like literally, I mean, the book isn't out, but the whole EU thing with Palpatine, that he was a clone. So
oh my god, yeah, like that.
Disney,
that's
like,
brand new information.
Yeah,
this week.
we'll talk about it again briefly in news. We'll just make it a part of our news too. But like, they just confirmed in the book novelization of The Rise of Skywalker
and
that
Dark Empire, like that's the whole thing.
Palpatine's a clone.
Yeah.
So he doesn't survive. He transfers his essence. And that was like a big lingering question as to why we were almost so critical of The Last Jedi. So like Justin said, a la carte, they just keep... Do they regret? No, because it seems like just they're using these picks to complete their wheel
like
whenever
almost,
they want to.
They're pulling the greatest hits and like the best things. Because I will admit, the EU got a little like into the weeds.
You got
Yeah,
Blu-ray.
like... Yeah.
Too much like ultra high powered things. Too much like... They were running out of new content, so they had to create their new content and like ramp things up. And I can 100% see why...
It did literally become high fantasy and was not Star Wars at one point.
Yeah, but I do appreciate that they are bringing some of my favorites back in, like Revan. I'm fine with the clone being the Emperor being a clone, because I thought that was a great story.
Yeah,
and it actually
made sense.
Makes it more sense now. In the book.
Like you said, Justin, the whole creative team came together in 2018 at Skywalker Ranch. Excuse me. They talked roundtable style. About what type of stories that they wish that they had, and they collectively laid out an entire story that would be told across multiple forms of media.
Which is what the movies need to have done.
For sure.
Yes, like finally they're doing it.
I do think there's no way that if this does go well, we don't get something out of it. Mm-hmm. Whether it's they animate a book, whether they do a live action, whether they do a TV show. I mean...
Possibly a video game that we have some rumors of.
Yeah. With how successful Mandalorian was, they just can't ignore... They have their own platform now. They have just... I mean, Disney has to have some sort of what we would consider just an endless amount of money. I mean, they could just throw money at this project. I mean, if you look at how much money Disney has made on Star Wars and Marvel alone, I mean, billions of dollars. And it's not like they're opening a new park every year, so they could definitely throw money at this. But
I like that they're fleshing it out in print first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the timeline of this movie, this suggests that the Jedi are still unaware that the Sith are still alive. They would be operating under the rule of 2. We know this because in Phantom Menace, Ki-Adi-Mundi says that the Sith had been extinct for over a millennium, and that they couldn't have returned without them knowing. This goes into making StarWars.net suggests that a future movie could also take place during the High Republic era, which I definitely hope happens. Like I said, if this goes well, which I'm pretty sure it will, and we've talked about at length on this podcast, that Disney operating on a storytelling level that isn't tied to strings of an already established story with the Skywalkers, they're going to do perfectly fine.
Would you be okay with that movie being Disney Plus only?
Yeah, because I pay for it.
With it.
Well, yeah, but
I mean, it won't be because they want to make money. I mean, they could put anything at the box office that says Star Wars, and even the haters are going to go pay for it.
I think I think another TV show or something that Mandalorian style that could get them some reoccurring revenue with subscribers that also then gets parlayed into a full featured movie that's out in the theaters could be an awesome option. Because we also have the option or the possibility of EA, there's rumors that they're working on a new video game, which has already been kind of rumored that it's could be a reboot of Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah.
Which would be awesome, but it would be if they heard like a few choice words and they heard Republic and it's not Old Republic and it's High Republic.
Yeah.
What if this is a like reminiscent of Knights of Old Republic, but it's in this whole new time era and it's a High Republic turn or RPG like Old
So like
Republic.
they took the same engine, updated it, added new characters, new story.
They kind of like built off of that. That would be amazing.
I'm totally fine with that.
BioWare needs a new game anyway.
BioWare is done. I'm done with BioWare.
Is anybody kind of? I just this idea just came to me when we're getting this new Star Wars content. With how much money Disney has, I feel like we still have more Marvel content than we do Star Wars.
Yeah.
Is that not
well,
weird?
Marvel's been burning hot for a minute. Like it's got more like fire behind it, and it pulled mainstream audiences in for a longer amount of time than Star Wars has just 2015 really started to do that.
And when Disney bought Marvel, they didn't decide to strike half of the content because it was non-canon anymore. They have so much to pull from,
Well, they made the
content-wise.
MCU, which is different.
Yeah, MCU is
Yeah.
not the same as the comics.
Yeah.
No, but also in Marvel comics, you have multiverses, so you can get away with that. Star Wars has to be a continual timeline, so you can't get away with just deciding, this happened in a different timeline.
Yeah, no, totally. Super excited with the the pictures that we've seen so far. Like I said, they are on Facebook and they are also on Instagram. Speculations. You're talking about
What you think's going to happen?
Yeah, what do we think's going to happen? There's been rumored to be a new enemy.
It's not a rumor. That's fact.
Okay,
The Nile.
The Nile.
Yeah. Which, if you look up the word nihilist, which is in the English dictionary, it's basically somebody who goes against prearranged, religion.
Anti-establishment.
Yeah, anti-establishment.
Punk rock movement.
Yeah, so if you look at these baddies, these bad guys, they're very punk rock. They're very Mad Max.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of like these ultra gas mask wearing anti-establishment, which anti-Jedi, and there's supposed to be something that happens in this first book, which is a catalyst that scares the Jedi. It scares the High Republic. So these aren't just because it's not a Sith or not a Stormtrooper, these bad guys are supposed to do something that scares the crap out of the Jedi.
Are you telling me that Star Wars is about to go through its emo phase?
There it is.
That's it.
You got it.
You got it. And that's like what you were saying though, Jordan, is you were saying, this is like the height of their power if they think, because
I like the opposites.
Yeah, and
the
it's
height
like
of their
we're gonna
power,
get
like these fancy gold wearing robes, and then like these Mad Max and Maxian gas mask punk rockers that are gonna
Absolutely,
shake everything up.
I kind of I have this envision of like these Jedis walking in pairs, like in their white robes, like they're not brown and earth tones, they're white, very royal, and then they just get gorilla jumped by all these,
Viet Congs.
That would be
exactly.
really cool.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But any final thoughts on High Republic as far as what do you think your overall what will the overall effect be on the community if you had to guess?
My hype is high right now. Like I only see positive outcomes based on them not announcing like legit things. Like
I think anything new to Star Wars is always going to be polarizing from here on. I'm cynical about it.
When you say polarizing in a bad way.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean that there's going to be people who absolutely love it like you guys. You guys will probably eat it up, may find some things wrong with it.
I mean, like I'm not a huge fan of the new the new saga.
Right, but there's a ton of people who do like it.
Yeah,
like
I
the
don't
new
not like it. It's just I think that there's other better Star Wars content.
I think that this will be the first time we're not comparing.
That's
because it's
what I'm
brand
most
new.
excited
Yeah.
about. Yeah.
If they do not draw on anything that is currently existing and try to make it as original as possible,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think they stand the best chance.
We hope.
I do hope
A new hope.
that because of the I want them to establish the rules of how the High Republic is operating. Like if we have some Jedi that are super super strong, I want to understand what happens in the 2 years before Phantom Menace that make the Jedi that we have weaker. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, kind of like the Sith in like the EU, like the old thousands-year-old were way
Yeah.
stronger than the Sith of like Palpatine's age.
Yeah, even like
Like, what
EU
happens?
Grandmaster Luke is the most
Oh, yeah,
overpowered
like,
thing ever.
So OP.
Yeah.
I want very, and that's when it comes to any sort of fantasy, magic, science, whatever it may be, any sort of storytelling, you have to very quickly identify the rules and the parameters that universe works in.
Work within 'em, yeah.
Yeah, and if you don't work within them, like you can't ruin the suspension of disbelief. So that's a hope that I have, that if they are like really strong and whatnot, I just want to understand. I want a very clear-cut story.
Yeah.
Do you want to see people that could be alive in the prequels in this, or do you want all new characters?
I wouldn't mind a cameo of Yoda or somebody who like you logically know is alive and he's part of the Jedi Order. Like, I don't want him to be a main character.
Chewbacca could be around.
Chewbacca, like, yeah, like if they're like a passing character, I think it would be a cool like nod.
Yeah.
But I don't want any story focused on them.
Now, I'm a casual Star Wars fan. Would there be a spot for something like a Dark Plagueis to show up?
I tried to do a little bit of research to see if Plagueis was alive, or to see if what is his name, Tenebris.
Tenebris was Darth Plagueis' master.
Which none of that's canon anymore. Tenebris could be alive. I don't know.
Okay, there's whether it's important or not, that's a different discussion. There's so many different Star Wars species, and their lifespans are so long. Like
Especially when you have
Chewbacca could be
the dark side feeding your life, like too.
Yeah, they could be extending it, but like Chewbacca could actually be alive.
Yeah,
because
he was 300 and something.
He's like in Solo, right?
Yeah.
Or no, he says he's 150 in Solo.
I don't remember.
I can't remember now. Of course, I'm forgetting the line.
My overall point, even with that, for me, no, I want them to start fresh.
Me too. I want more, but I don't mind
fresh.
Yoda.
No, Yoda would be a cool cameo.
A cameo is all.
Yeah, or even like just a mention of him would be cool. But
if you
other
see
than
Yoda
that,
like walking in as like just a Jedi Knight in the background, and that's literally it.
Yeah,
that'd be perfect.
He would definitely be a master at that point. Whether he was on the council, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got to be up there.
True.
I wouldn't mind. And somebody, they mentioned we were talking off air that there's been just so many articles about this. Sometimes it's hard to figure out what's fact that's been released by Lucas.
Speculation.
Yeah, and what's speculation.
Real.
But there's supposed to be another Yoda species released in these.
Ugh.
No.
So there will be Yoda, Baby Yoda from The Mandalorian, and there's supposed to be Yaddle, and then there's supposed to be another Yoda species in these, which I don't mind.
Well, I mean, even in the Knights of the Old Republic, there was somebody who was of Yoda species in that, and I mean, I guess it's fine. It's just I don't want them to beat a dead horse. Like you made something special, stop it.
I don't mind them talking about it more, but don't give away all the details.
Yes.
I still want Yoda species to remain a mystery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's High Republic.
Clone Wars Season 7, Episode 2. Okay.
Man, I feel like I haven't talked about this in minutes.
Listen. This episode, we're experts on this episode now.
Are we though?
Yeah, because we keep having to talk about it because recording things don't want to let us record. Shout outs to Chris on FOMOcast. He knows exactly what I'm talking about.
That's a great Sukah
There can
story.
be only one Duncan MacLeod.
Listen, it's Connor McLeod or nothing. Okay. All right. So episode 2, you already know the drill. We're going to talk about it, brief overlay, and then, we'll just talk about some of the little,
We're going to split them up. We're going to do
tidbits.
episode 2 recap, and then we're going to hash it out about the episode, then 3, and then we'll hash it out.
Episode 2. The title of the episode is A Distant Echo. Rex, following Anakin, leads Anakin to the barracks where Anakin begins to have FaceTime with Padme. Shout outs to Rex for being the best wingman ever. Padme is obviously pregnant at this point. She does have what appears to be a pooch, a pregnant belly. Obi-Wan begins to walk towards the barrack. Rex notifies Anakin that Obi-Wan is coming. And as he is exiting, Obi-Wan almost kind of calls Anakin out, telling him to tell Padme he said hello.
He knows.
The mission then continues to go to Scatco Minor, the Bad Batch and the crew, along with General Skywalker, as they are entering the atmosphere, are met by the indigenous aliens, the Poltex. As they land, they are met very hostilely. They land. They then begin to speak in their native language, which kind of sounds
Anakin
like
gets straight up stolen.
Oh, snatched instantly.
Got him.
Takes them away. The language that they're speaking, it kind of sounds like they're speaking a regular language, but in reverse. Just like that. They bring out, with the help of Tech and his Google Translate, that they simply do not want to be brought into this war. Scatco Minor appears to be the headquarters of the Techno Union. The aliens lead them to the city of Perkol. They then go on what is supposed to be a stealth mission, once again to find Echo. After making their way through the city, they narrow their search to Echo's signal. They then break into the control room where they believe Echo is being held, and Rex then is able to help Echo down. And that's pretty much the end of the episode. Rex and Echo kind of have a touching moment there where they're reunited.
Right.
Rex definitely has some nice sentiments because he was right, and his brother's alive. Someone that he
give up
really
on his brother.
Yep, he's there. One thing that I really liked at the beginning of the episode is I still think that we obviously think that Padme is pregnant.
Oh, yeah.
And at the beginning of Revenge of the Sith, Padme tells Anakin that she's pregnant.
Right.
So we've talked about this a little bit before of where the timeline of the show is.
How close they are connected to Revenge of the Sith in this season.
And a lot of things are happening during the Revenge of the Sith, stuff. It's overlapping. It has to be at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's for sure, she's got the baby bump going on, and she's like, to anybody who's seen a pregnant woman, they can't not hold their belly when they know that they're pregnant, and she's got the little bit of the pooch, and both of her hands are kind of cradling that belly the entire FaceTime call that his boy Rex is straight up throwing the wingman.
Yeah. Rex knows, and he's helping Anakin cover this up. I mean, that's a
even giving him the
big
heads
deal.
up, the
Yeah, exactly.
knock on the door as Obi-Wan's coming up.
What a bro. I mean, come on.
Yeah, he's letting him know. And that just puts more of a testament on Rex and Anakin's relationship too.
Yeah.
Which is really cool to see.
Which they even bring out. Padme brings it out to Anakin about, that he's passionate trying to get, help his friend.
Yeah.
And Anakin thinks it's a really bad idea, but Padme brings out.
Trust your friend.
Yeah, you do this. Why not support your friend while he's doing this
Exactly.
too?
Yeah, one thing that we were talking about is I really think that Obi-Wan definitely knows at this point. I think he knows exactly what's going on with
absolutely.
Padme and Anakin. I think he chooses to ignore it because it allows him to continue on with his Jedi business a lot easier.
Right.
But
Playing stupid.
But
Yeah.
he loves to throw that shade, though.
Oh, he's throwing it.
Yeah.
Casting it.
I instinctively think that he knows, but I also like to wonder, associate it with something in real life, when you suspect, one of your close friends is doing something that they haven't admitted to you, and you because you know them so well, their tendencies and their behavior, you see them doing something off, and you kind of put your own pieces together and you throw it at them and just see if it sticks.
Yeah.
And I wonder if he's doing that. Maybe this is the beginning of him starting to put the pieces together of Anakin and Padme, and he's just slinging something to see if it sticks or if it doesn't.
I really liked the Poltex. They kind of looked like the aliens from Sign.
Yeah.
From Signs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked them.
Shyamalan.
Yeah, I liked that they were native. I also liked the creatures that they were riding, very Avatar-ish.
Yeah, and they worship those creatures, apparently. Tech brought that out in the very beginning. that they worship these creatures that they also flew, which we'll find out a little bit more in the third episode. why That's a big deal.
Apparently,
Yeah.
which we're probably saying that wrong.
Yeah.
And talk about racist crosshair.
Oh, dude. We usually don't work with regs.
Dude.
And then he said, what did he say? Like he like threw like hardcore shade at Rex, saying like it's your fault that you left your boy.
He's probably dead.
He's
Yeah.
like, he was just a reg anyway.
Yeah.
Like,
I do like
Bruh.
the little spats that they constantly get into.
oh yeah, and Rex friggin' like wrecked him. Like he got like 3 or 4 like solid hits in before Wrecker like one arm picks him up and
Yeah,
pulls
he's
him
like,
away.
yeah, he's like,
Anakin's
calm
like,
down, boy.
whoa. He's
Be
Chris
cool, bro.
Pratt.
Be cool,
in-
bro. Be cool.
Chris Pratt in Jurassic,
Jurassic
World.
Park,
He's
yeah.
like, okay.
Hey,
okay.
whoa. Just calling him down.
Steady.
Hey, Echo, I see your... Yeah.
Any final thoughts before we move on into episode 3?
Yeah, I think this episode, it had a lot of action, but to me, the most influential, the most memorable part was the first 3 minutes of it.
I will also say the last 3 minutes of it.
Yeah, the
as well.
first and the last. Yeah, 100%.
We also meet a new battle droid called D-Wing that we've never
Yeah.
seen in Star
Yeah.
Wars canon.
They got like Grievous arms with laser pointers on the end.
Do
Yeah.
the creep.
which they were super ineffective, as most battle droids are, except for super battle or SB2 droids and Droideka, pretty much.
I have a theory on them, but we're
Technically,
going to wait
you
until
get better.
episode 3.
Episode 3. Anakin kind of had a cool moment, like they were all surrounded and he came in like through the hallway and took out a bunch of them.
Oh
That
yeah,
was cool
he
to
like
see.
force pushed like a chunk of like a dozen of them.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, Hunter coming in with the knife.
Oh yeah,
with the
vibro knife,
and
like,
then
straight solid snaking them up.
Crosshair doing the short range with his still sniper rifle,
Oh, yeah.
sliding in.
Yeah, he came in that slide
Max
like
Payne
yeah.
style, just
Yeah, that was really cool.
yeah.
So episode 3. Now,
Let's do our recap.
part of why we're doing this is because we were forced to, but I also kind of like this.
Don't bring it up.
I also kind of like this format because the episodes are so quick, and sometimes it's easier to unpack it on a surface level, and then you kind of just scratch at the skin a little bit. There really is not a lot to dig at until we get like all 12 episodes. I
Yeah.
think like a
Yeah.
like a season 7 recap is where we could really go into like a lot more detail. But just getting these 20-minute episodes one at a time, I think this format is
also
working.
worked out amazingly well. The way episode 2 seamlessly, just fluidly went into episode 3. Like it ends with Echo on the floor.
Yeah.
And Rex with him. Episode 3 starts with the other half of what's going on in that scene, and it's the rest of the team defending them and fighting off the battle droids, and it like picks up without like the slightest bit of delay.
Well, let's just jump right into it, just like you said. So episode 3, entitled On the Wings of Kirdax. After Rex brings down Echo, Tech has to decrypt the cerebral interface before...
Cerebral.
Dude, what am I saying? That is what I said.
You said cerebral. Like
Cerebral. Cerebral.
Yeah, I'm going to keep saying cerebral.
I want a bowl of cerebral.
you got it.
Chocolate souffle.
Dude, I want a cereal that's like... Anyway, no, never mind. My bad. Okay. So he does computer stuff and they allow him to disconnect it. I should have just said that.
Computer stuff.
Okay, so Tech does some computer stuff.
Ackerman.
IT showed up.
Listen, Anders and Jordan show up. They disconnect him. They type in their admin passwords, okay, and they take down Echo. All right. Of course, they're getting surrounded by battle droids. All right. The crew disconnects Echo. Echo is already showing himself useful. By one of his right robotic arms, he's able to splice open the doors, and this opens the door to the cooling system that allows them to escape. Before they escape through the cooling systems, though, the Bad Batch, in what would now be considered their classic fashion, blows up the control room. The crew walks onto what can barely be considered a catwalk, and of course, once again, they are encountered and surrounded by D-Wing battle droids. With the help of Tech, the MVP of this episode, in my opinion, he is able to call upon the Kirdax, the native flying creatures of the planet, and they jump onto the backs of the creatures to escape. However, the D-Wings, properly named, can fly. The droids then follow the crew back to the village of the Poltex. They say to Anakin and to the clones and to Clone Batch 99 that they have broken their word. They have brought the war to them. Tech, along with Rex, explains why the Poltecs must join the Republic. They use Echo as an example, showing him that this is exactly what the Separatists do. They turn people into
Machines.
Thank you. Yeah, I wanted it like monsters.
Yeah.
They're kind of like using that as like a monster
They
type
make
thing.
them what
Yeah.
they want.
Yeah, exactly. They join forces, of course, and they have to defeat the Techno Union. But when all seems lost, the Techno Union forces have started to surround our heroes with an impressive display of teamwork with Clone Force 99, General Skywalker, and the Poltecs. They take down the Union walkers, and they are in full retreat. At the end of the episode, our crew is getting on their ship to head back home with Echo, and another touching exchange between Rex and Echo, and the sediment. The sentiment is said in between them, just like old times.
Touching and also ominous.
Yeah, it was for sure.
Very.
And the music is what gave away the ominous. So let's just start right there at the end. Jordan made a good point kind of about Echo.
I actually honestly thought something bad or Echo was going to turn as soon as they unplugged him.
Like
Oh,
a
okay.
double
Like,
agent.
yeah, double agent kind of situation. Also, I thought it was incredibly convenient that first of all he was able to know where a vent was, and he also
Yeah.
his
Well, they
ro-
explained it.
his robotic arm though also turns into the same thing that R2D2 has,
Yeah, like
that
an astromech.
turns astromech.
It's a splicer tool.
Yeah, a splicer tool. But yeah, it's just everything. It felt like something. I was waiting the whole episode for there to be that turn of Echo, and it was until the end that I'm like, okay, something is really going up.
And you know what is interesting, like thinking back, is when they realized that the clones had stolen Echo, the what's his name? The leader of the Techno Union, Wat Tambor.
Tambor.
Like he says, we have to wait and see how we can what did he
Get
say?
back our investment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
reacquire our investment or get back our investment.
It was
So
It's
it
all
makes-
about money to them too.
profit
Yeah.
margin. He brought up their profit margin.
Yeah, so that like his line about that, like the way he wasn't super worried that he had been Echo had been taken, and then that very last line of the episode with the shift in the music makes you feel like, okay, there's something that is going to happen. Like he's either
If I
like-
if I had to guess, even if you look on the left side of Echo, I haven't seen it on the right side of his head, only on the left side of his head. There's some sort of a digital display
Yeah.
that is over his ear, and that really reminds me of Lando's butler type dude
Oh,
that we
yeah.
see in Cloud City in
that's a good reference. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
he was an android as well.
That's what I'm saying.
You know,
I just literally had a thought too.
no way.
They're the Techno Union. What if he's got a way to modify his inhibitor chip?
That's what I'm saying. Like they're
Yeah.
gonna find a way maybe to tap into, see what he sees. You know, if they had
Or
some sort of
control him through his inhibitor chip instead of being Order 66. It's whatever they want him to do.
if they had a cerebral connection.
Yeah, nice.
You got it.
You got it.
Choco souffle.
They could have a way to like bring him back, but the music and all that was definitely was not a coincidence. What else from this episode do we feel like we definitely need to bring out?
I like that they halfway explained away the dumb D-Wings freaking Grievous arms with laser pointers. Like, I thought they were the dumbest looking droid, but their name actually came to like I guess you could say fruition. Like, there's a reason that they're called D-Wings, and there's a reason why they had these weird, skinny, bony arms. Is because they were gliders. Like,
Yeah,
if
they
you
needed
notice,
to be-
they had no propulsion. They
Yeah.
were straight gliders with their arms.
The first thing that I thought about when I saw them was I thought about Geonosians. Like, they immediately reminded me as
The
soon
little
as I
bugs.
saw
Yeah.
the wings, and it brought me back to the Vader comic.
They could have been
where-
designed after them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And just reminded me of the Vader comic where he goes to Geonosis, and they're using the droid factory to continue to make Geonosians part android. Immediately reminded me of that. So I wonder if they're partially designed off that. Probably not, but the design definitely reminded me of what they looked like.
I think we had some really cool Anakin moments.
Yeah.
Displaying his force power, taking down those walkers. That was super cool. Using the force jumps. Ataru lightsaber form, which is also what Yoda uses, which is combining the Force and acrobats and the
Yep.
jumps and swinging around the barrels of the guns.
The
And
backflip and then big force push.
Oh,
yeah, super
And then
cool.
shout out to Wrecker, his moment also. Like, you love that, Connor.
I did. Yeah, Walker's coming down and he pushed some of the Poltex out of the way and just straight up Hulk just caught it.
Yeah.
And the ground starts breaking beneath his feet. And
I think my favorite part in that whole scene was the teamwork between Wrecker and Hunter. Wrecker pulls his vibro knife out, which is, I guess, only
yeah.
described as a Bowie knife.
Yeah,
like,
thing
it was
is
like a
huge.
machete
Yeah.
almost. And he like,
and it's glowing. It's like
he
yellow.
throws it, and you think he's throwing it like to take out an enemy, but he throws it at Hunter. Hunter grabs it like simultaneous, like smooth midair, grabs it and like transitions that into like a takedown of like 3 or 4 droids, and he's double vibro knifing them hand to hand combat style. I loved that.
Yeah. And Anakin also being able to pull, sorry, the name is, being able to pull Wrecker up.
Oh, yeah, with the Force, yeah.
Which, by the way, the Decimator is definitely the nickname the Yingling Factory gives James when he shows up.
Got him.
James Platt, the decimator of Yingling.
But
That's what they called that floating droid.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So the Decimator's coming in, and Anakin knows that my God,
he's gonna take him out.
Yeah, knows that Wrecker can't get up there on his own, and so
Because he
starts
threw
pulling
everybody else
him
up, and he's a big boy.
Which, that was an actually really cool scene. Really great visual effects of the Decimator coming.
And I
in with
wondered, like in the last episode, I noticed that they were Tesla coils, and there are little sparks of lightning / electricity coming off as they walked in to see where Echo was even going to be. And I was like, what the heck are there these weird like Tesla coils like sparking electricity? And then when the Decimator came in, he was literally shooting all that electricity, like cleansing the whole room.
Yeah, said
like,
he
it
was
was a cool,
searching
it was like a
for
cool tie-in.
organic.
Because I noticed that and I was like, what the heck? This is like a weird, pointless thing to even be in the room.
Yeah.
But they like story explained it away.
Well, I'm really glad they got Echo out of the Matrix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciated the the Poltex. They like kind of like the native, with the spears. Reminded me of the Ewoks, a little
Yeah.
bit.
There was
I
a
could see
lot
that.
of indoor in that fight.
Yeah.
It's because everything was going
Yeah,
great
it's a
until the
good call.
walkers showed up.
Yep.
And then it just went to crap.
Yep. The AT-ATs come in, or ATSTs. And they were okay as far as we probably won't be seeing them again.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Techno unions don't build the best droids, really.
No.
They kind of like goofy things.
Yeah. And this whole thing, it was brought out in episode 2, and it feels like it's going to get expounded on from here on. Techno Union was supposed to be neutral to the Republic.
Yeah.
And definitely, they were siding with the Separatists, but now that it
was
definitely a full-fledged thing.
Yeah, it was supposed to be like it was a business. It wasn't a personal matter.
Yeah.
Like they were
I'm
just hired to build something.
Very curious if they're going to expand on that. If they don't, I mean, I understand they just become part of the Separatists, but I think that was
They kinda look-
a really cool little tie-in.
Oh my god, they look like Zurg from Toy Story.
Yeah, they do. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they do. Wow.
Do you think that we're going to lose any of the members of Bad Batch?
Hopefully Crosshair.
Got him.
Yeah, Crosshair is the only person on the
Don't
group.
like him.
He is likely the least amount to die because he's always the furthest away from harm.
I feel like Crosshair is like purposely being made to be kind of a jerk, and they're gonna like show some super heartfelt moment, and like he does something super heroic, and then he's gonna end up dying.
Well, we talked about this because you guys brought out there's only 12 episodes, and there's got to be three arcs in this.
Connor, are you on Facebook right now?
I'm pulling up news, fool.
Okay, I'm just checking.
Got him.
Way to ruin the man's freaking mojo.
But
About to go into our next segment.
But no, with the 3 arcs that are supposed to be part of
You got it.
this, I'm so glad I'm the one taking this seriously. With the 3 arcs that are there, how much of an impact do you think that the Bad Batch is going to have from here on? Because you don't make 3 episodes with the Bad Batch just to drop them off.
True.
how much of an impact do you think they would have on the rest of the season and into Order 66?
I think they're going to end up remaining with Anakin.
You think they're gonna go with him like post 66?
You gotta no.
Oh.
They'll leave him at some point. I mean, for the duration of this season, because remember, supposedly this season is supposed to overlap with the Ahsoka book, with her battle with Maul on Mandalore, and Anakin is not there. I don't know if Anakin and Ahsoka are even gonna ever see each other again. I don't think they do, because the first time that she sees him again is in Rebels, when she realizes that Anakin becomes Vader.
Yeah, I think that it would be cool. I was literally trying to remember the name of the movie that I was thinking of, and it's Crash. If this is like a Crash scenario where it's like some 3 or 4 different arcs that all just culminate into one amazing ending. Like, we might see this bit of the Bad Batch, and it might shift and we don't see anything for 8, 9, 10 episodes or something. But then on the last 2 episodes, like, just if everything, all these stories just mesh into this epic ending, like, that's my biggest hope.
I would be fine with that. Was I the only one who was kind of hoping in episode 2 that it was Ahsoka that Anakin was reaching out to and not Padme?
Yeah, I mean,
in the hollow.
Yeah.
with 3 episodes in, I am.
I think we all just want to see Ahsoka from the ending of Rebels.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
I'm upset that we're 25% of the way through and we still haven't gotten any Ahsoka. But
maybe she'll actually have an entire arc just for her.
Yeah,
I hope so.
Well, guys, let's go into news. Not a whole ton of, big news things. Just some, new movies that are coming out. Also, we have some new video game stuff that's coming out.
Oh, yes.
Taika Waititi is remaking a Charlie and the Chocolate Factory series for
Do we
Netflix.
need a third time?
Really?
Do we need a third?
No.
Although I love him.
Yeah.
Do we need a third?
Taika would make it funny.
Okay.
Taika.
Gene Wilder was the best.
Gene Wilder, he's the man.
Yeah.
Like, just let it be what it was great. Stop making no more Johnny Depp. No, like,
You didn't care for Johnny's?
No.
No.
Not even remotely.
No.
The Oompa Loompas were the best part of that entire thing. And even that was only okay.
I'm so tired. I know we have more news on the same thing. I'm so tired of
Just
people.
reboots.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking of reboots, it is confirmed that we are getting a Sandlot reboot series that is coming to Disney Plus.
You're killing me, Smalls.
No!
It gets worse.
You're killing me, Smalls.
You ready?
No.
It's with the original cast.
Oh my god.
Why?
This is
That's
this is real.
You know
This
what?
is not.
You want
reboot.
a real life piece of trivia? I have a pair of PF flyers from that movie, and they're one of my favorite pairs of shoes.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
They're way more
This is
comfortable
still
than
a
Chuck's.
terrible idea.
Yeah. I don't get it. I mean,
That movie was so good. It was classic.
You-
Leave it.
You've
They
brought
even
it,
give the recap at the end of the movie of what happened to
yeah.
everybody.
Well, you brought it out in previous podcasts.
That's right. We're good at that.
They want to go with something that they know they can make money off of.
Yeah.
I hate this so much.
just rebooting constantly.
Well, especially rebooting my childhood.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
I hate that.
One thing that I hope they do, which I think that they're doing with Mighty Ducks, is they're not like completely rebooting a series. They're taking the same coach with new kids. So they still have, Bombay, and he's continuing like he's still a coach. Those kids that we grew up with, they've grown up, they've moved on,
Yeah,
but he's
started
teaching
to
the
do
next
math.
generation. You know what I mean? Like,
Emilio Estevez exists in the same space-time?
Yeah, he's still the coach. Bombay is still the coach.
No, he still exists as a human being.
yes.
Okay, all right. Well, then, I guess they can do that.
He's in a huge actor family.
Something that I'm excited about. I've watched the cinematics. I haven't played the games myself, but the cinematics were amazing. We are apparently getting a Last of Us series that is coming to
You
HBO.
haven't played Last of Us?
Nope.
Oh my! I didn't play the second one.
Well, the second one hasn't come out yet.
It isn't out. I say that's why I haven't played it.
No.
The first one, I have never cried so quick in an opening of a game than the Last of Us opening.
I'm
My
working.
God.
I'm working on that game right now. I've got to the subway with the clickers at the very beginning.
Okay,
And
but you played the opening then, like
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No.
Heart-wrenching.
I played through the subway with the clickers. I felt the most stress I have felt in a very long time, and I'm like, okay, I got to set this down, and I haven't touched it in a while, so I got to get back to that.
HBO's though.
I know.
Another subscription service. I can't pay for anymore.
No.
I'm over it.
No.
Yeah, I'm not doing it anymore.
They just need to release a cable box that has all of them, and you just pay a flat rate.
Yeah.
That's a weird idea. Why would we ever do that?
I know, right? Jeez.
Speaking of video games, what about this is like this week news. They dropped a Final Fantasy Remake demo.
Way to, totally timestamp this podcast, by the way.
That's fine.
Okay. Yes, absolutely downloaded it. I found out the morning it came out, and I absolutely downloaded it on my way to work through my PlayStation app, the demo.
So what is it? Total runtime? Is it like
It is
mid game, giving you the beginning of the game, or like where's
very
it sit?
beginning of the game? It is for anybody who's familiar with Final Fantasy VII. It's the bombing run, the very beginning of the game, and
I played that part.
The
No Final Fantasy VIII.
I will continue to fight you in the comments about that every single day. But the game feels different because it is an active battle game.
Not turn-based like it used to be.
There is a classic mode that allows you to play it like it is turn-based.
That's what I would do.
So while the characters are actually fighting in real time, you actually get your action commands that you can give them, and it slows down the game so that you can do that. It's really cool.
Is it pretty?
It looks fantastic. It sounds fantastic. They remixed the music perfectly. The voice acting is on point. I had so much fun with this game. The demo lasts about an hour.
Solid.
Hour and a half. Well, if you do what I do and explore every single corner, it's an hour and a half. But it plays incredibly well.
I wonder if they're going to do anything like some of like the coolest things on good demos on big games that weren't out yet, but they had a lot of like weight behind. They would give you like some piece of exclusive gear that you could only get by completing the demo, and then like once you start the game, it would register you had that save data, and like you'd have like an awesome starting armor or weapon or something.
Possibly there are what they call Moogle coins that you collect in the demo, which are very optional, and they're a key item that just says it's cool to collect. So it could be something like that. But if you're a fan of the Final Fantasy games, if you're even scared of them not being the same because of it, then definitely make sure, but still go download it, because they've kind of altered the conversations and the stories just slightly, so that it feels like it's a new game, but it still follows the same structure. I love it to death.
It is this part of the podcast where you have stuck around to the very end. It's the reason why you stick around for the very end, because it's certainly not for this voice. And it's the part where we have a guest telling embarrassing stories.
Thanks, guys, for listening to the KonKon's Cantina podcast. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and Facebook.
He's giving us a shout out. Yeah, hey,
It's not going to work, buddy.
Gosh darn it. Okay. I talked with you guys about a couple embarrassing stories. And so I played Russian roulette in my head, and this is the one I'm going to go with.
We don't know the details. You gave us like a hint.
Yeah. So...
Do it.
Imagine being 12.
Do it.
Okay. All right. Let me get into my Jon Favreau
Master
storyteller stance here. So I am 12 years old. 13 years old.
You look way older.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. These wrinkles are awful. So 13 years old, living out in Texas. And living out in Texas meant one thing. You played football. You played a lot. Football. You played a lot of football. And
Mama said.
Yeah. And living out in Texas, you played football all year. So we had 107-degree summers.
super. Was it dry heat or like Arizona, or was it like wet?
It was
heat
dry
like Florida?
heat. No. It was dry heat, which I
Okay.
guess is good if you like baking on a skillet. And so we would be out there in 107-degree weather in the middle of nowhere playing football in a grass field.
Yeah.
Because, what else are you supposed to do?
Boys do.
That is what boys do. It was either that or we shoot fireworks at each other, which we did.
Ooh, I like that option.
Roman candle fights were a thing. But I remember specifically one time where growing up, I'm already laughing. We played football a lot. We had a lot of fun with it. And, being 13, I don't have a driver's license. I can't go anywhere
Yeah.
on my own. So I always relied on my
13 years.
friends.
You had your
and
bike.
7th to 8th grade.
I lived in the middle of nowhere.
Okay, so you didn't have a bike.
Like,
You had your dirt bike.
No.
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 Dang, I want a dirt bike.
Like,
another one.
I lived in the part of the land
Uh-huh.
where there's nothing.
Gotcha.
That's where I lived.
That's all of the land.
That's all of the land.
Okay.
So I couldn't. I had to rely on other people to get places. So we actually had a serious football group, flag football team,
Texan
Texans.
Field Football League.
Field Football League. I was the fastest. I don't have the knees for that anymore.
Around.
So I really, really wanted to go to this flag football league that we had in Dallas, which was about an hour away from where I lived.
Okay.
And, it was going to be about 7-8 teams. I was the fastest among our team, and I definitely wanted to make sure that I could go.
Yeah.
So it's starting to come up. It's on a Saturday. I start making calls on Thursday. And I'm like, hey, I really want to go to this. Could you give me a ride? Mm-hmm. And they're like,
Who's this?
these are my friends. So these are
Okay.
the people who are actually on the team.
Yeah.
They're either old enough to have their own car
Uh-huh.
or
So friends and teammates.
Yeah.
So they have a responsibility as their teammate.
yeah.
Gotcha.
No. We there was probably about 8 or 9 of us. One of them included my older brother,
Okay.
Okay.
which is going to add to this story.
Uh-huh.
So,
Hate him already. No, I'm just kidding.
oh, you're so terrible.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to find a ride
Uh-huh.
because that's a long drive. I can't drive it myself. Too young for that. So I want to go. I really want to go really bad. And I start calling my friends. I ask my brother. My brother says that he's
Sorry, car's full.
yeah. Thank you for spoiling that.
That's a classic older brother move.
Love you, Jonathan. So
Like, this is a station wagon with 7 seats.
no,
They're all full.
No, it was a Ford Escort.
bringing the cones, bro.
It was a Ford Escort that we regularly put 8 people into.
See,
okay?
there you go.
Yeah. I got very familiar with people's laps.
I got a box of flags and cones in the back.
Takes up everything. You
It
can't
takes
fit
up
back
everything.
there, bro.
So he couldn't drive me. I call one of my friends. He says no. I call another friend. He says no. I call people.
Napoleon Dynamite, like Uncle Rico.
Bet you I can throw a football over these mountains.
Yeah. So, and then I start calling people on the team that I'm not necessarily really close with, that I definitely want to make sure, I'm like, hey, come on, help me out here.
Yeah.
Everybody's saying no.
I'm
Okay.
starting to question how fast you actually were.
I was fast. We timed it.
They don't
I
want their
was-
fastest team member?
You go look at the tapes that don't exist.
He is Uncle Rico.
Yeah.
I feel so ashamed. I already feel embarrassed talking about this already. So we get to the point where it's Saturday. It's Saturday morning. So at the time I call
Still scrambling.
still scrambling. I call my best friend and I'm like, dude, come on. You have to help me out here. Your parents are driving you there. I know they have enough room in your car because it's only going to be maybe them two and you. Come on, you got to take me.
Uh-huh.
So my best friend at the time,
First and last name, so we can all yell at him over social media.
I'm going to call him JB.
Justin Baker. What's
Yes, JB. He sighs and got really silent for a very long time.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
And he tells me, dude, nobody wants to ride with you because you don't wear deodorant and you smell like a ball sack. And that was a revelation at the time.
Jordan, I've been meaning to tell you.
Oh, shut up.
Now that it's out in the open.
Just gonna clear the air.
Literally.
with Febreze.
Yeah. So I didn't know it was a problem. I really didn't know it was a problem. I think my dad had shown me once how to put on deodorant, but he didn't buy me my own deodorant to do that with.
He didn't buy you a car. He wasn't going to buy you deodorant either.
Okay, that's another embarrassing story. But we couldn't. I didn't know.
Yeah.
And so I had to sit there all day and think about my BO and how all my friends had put up
So
with
did
it
you
over
get
the
to
past
go?
year. No.
I didn't know that part of the
He
story.
wasn't the fastest on the team.
So no, I didn't get to go. I had to sit at home all day and think about the fact that my friends.
I hope they lost the championship.
Oh,
'cause
they
went
absolutely did.
Good.
Because this dude wasn't there.
Hey.
Because they
I'm
weren't.
imagining a like still shrink wrapped speed stick, and Jordan like just doesn't know how to use it. And he's just rubbing it on him under the plastic still on.
I imagine Jordan in his football attire doing the SpongeBob thing where SpongeBob has the superpower of running really fast, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm really fast.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
You want to
I'm
see
ready."
me run to that rock? Want to see me do it again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had to sit at home all day and think about that. And to today, I am super self-conscious about that fact that I wear deodorant constantly.
Is there a stick of deodorant in your car?
There used to be. There used to be, because actually not even that long ago, probably about 5 years ago, I went to work and realized I didn't put on deodorant, and I didn't have a stick of deodorant in my car.
Went home.
No.
Called in sick.
I didn't go home. I stopped at the nearest drugstore I could, put it on, and left it in my glove box because I'm like, you know what?
Dude, I
No.
thought you were gonna say put it back on the
I'm not
shelf. I really thought.
should have.
I really thought.
I'm not gonna lie, I keep a can of like Axe body spray in my truck at all times for anytime I get funky at work.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I have to do that.
Yeah, I
So-
keep deodorant in like my backpack anytime I'm going anywhere.
Yeah.
There's always deodorant.
So,
in there,
so because those guys weren't willing to handle the stink of glory, I was not there, and they lost. They would have
Serves
lost
them
with me
right.
too.
but serves them right.
They would have lost with me too. It's okay.
JB, you're a jerk.
Listen, guys, thanks for joining us this week at KonKon's Cantina. I actually thoroughly enjoyed that story.
Thank you.
I thought somehow I did not know that you were like not going to make it to the football thing. So
No,
I liked
no.
that part. That was good.
I have more. I have
just
more
left
stories that I will definitely not want to tell, but I will tell.
I just see like after that you're just like in the bathtub like and you just keep washing yourself like I don't get it. I smell good now,
straight up
guys.
rubbing a layer of skin off of your body.
Yeah.
Listening to emo music while I'm scrubbing my armpits.
Yeah.
Oh my god, no.
Well, guys, I was your boy. It's KonKon, and once again, thanks for joining us.
The casual kid.
And of course,
Jousenbacher.
we'll see you next time, guys.
Bye.